Okay, here we go. Season 7 finale. Green screen set up. Hair looks good. All that's left is the pre-show seance. A host has gathered. His reviews are true. Shitty movies, I call to you. This is Movie Night. Hello and welcome to the season finale of Movie Night. I'm your host, Jonathan Paula. Since I'm not a huge fan of the genre, normally I don't review too many horror films on the show, let alone some of the more disposable modern fare like tonight's two movies. But it is October, and I did have the awesome opportunity, thanks to my friends at Playlist Live, to see tonight's second film over a month early. So I felt it important to take advantage of that head start and actually upload before my YouTube reviewing peers for a change. But we can't simply talk about the new one without discussing its predecessor, so let's begin with the franchise's first installment, Ouija. Unoriginal and forgettable. Released a week before Halloween in 2014, this unassuming supernatural horror film from director Styles White was a surprise success, grossing almost $100 million more than its tiny $5 million budget, which is especially impressive considering how universally panned it was. Borrowing heavily from far better films, writers White and Juliet Snowden offer nothing new or exciting in the PG-13 rated plot, which follows a group of aimless, affable teens whose discovery of a stupid board game inadvertently awakens dark spirits inside an old house. All the classic horror tropes are here: the dusty attic, the spooky reflections in a mirror, the creepy basement, and plenty of jump scares. I will say, however, that some scenes, however predictable, definitely work. To summon a deceased friend, our inquisitive heroes activate the titular game by declaring in unison, "As friends we've gathered, hearts are true, spirits near, we call to you." The cult-like chant certainly elicits an unnerving mood, but it's the arrival of the spirit, a small child with her mouth sewn shut, that truly frightens.
DZ, where are you?
The chair.
I don't see anything.
Guys, I think we should get out of here.
Earlier, featured protagonist Olivia Cooke struggles to deal with the sudden loss of her best friend, Shelley Hennig, which provides some nice and effective moments. Sadly, however, this is a horror movie, not an after-school special on overcoming grief. Indeed, a solid 75% of the movie's first hour isn't scary whatsoever. To its credit, though, this isn't because Ouija is trying things and failing, it simply doesn't try. The comfortably placed 89-minute film doesn't really turn a corner until very late in the game, and then the remaining developments are quite rushed. Ultimately, the final act boils down to dumb teens flailing around and getting killed by creepy ghosts one at a time, which is structurally more reminiscent of a slasher film than a supernatural story. And sometimes the characters aren't even in the haunted house itself, an especially frustrating if semantic development when the movie makes a point to explain how the evil spirits are governed by geographic boundaries. With conventional cinematography and a suitable score from Anton Sanko, this film plays out like a much more graphic version of Nickelodeon's Are You Afraid of the Dark TV show, an interesting concept with relatable characters that disappoints with an uninspired execution. For those with a particularly keen interest in board game mythology or low expectations, this film isn't all bad. It accomplishes exactly what it sets out to do, with a sense of unabashed sincerity. Low-budget horror movies are a lot like McDonald's McRib sandwich. They only come around once a year, are far more popular than they have any right to be, but despite the inevitable disappointment, you can't help but give them a try again and again. Speaking of which, let's see what you had to say about it. Criticizing its inability to truly scare or invent, you scored this a 3 out of 10. Ouija is simple and familiar, but it occasionally spooks. I thought it was lame as well. Now a word about tonight's sponsor. The Byte Plus is the newest mini desktop PC from Azul. Its tiny form factor is powered with a 64-bit quad-core Intel processor. It has expandable micro SD storage up to 128 gigabytes, built-in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Ethernet, and USB 3.0. So despite being the size of an alarm clock, the Byte Plus can pretty much do everything a fully featured desktop can. From calling friends on Skype, browsing the web, playing video games, or using it to stream movies from Netflix or Hulu. For me personally, I think that's its most attractive option, using it as a robust media center for my living room TV. Unlike typical set-top boxes, this is an actual computer, which will have no problem playing or streaming whatever you throw at it. Whether it's that rare video codec you can't play anywhere else or just some big screen browsing you're interested in, the Byte Plus can handle it all. Prices start at just $169, which you can check out for yourself by visiting the Azul website or Amazon.com. Links to both are below. These in-video promotions help keep Movie Night possible, so thank you for listening. Your attention and viewership is greatly appreciated. Let's get back to the reviews now with my thoughts on Ouija: Origin of Evil. Going backwards helped this franchise move forward. Scheduled to be released on October 21st, 2016, this supernatural horror film, written and directed by Mike Flanagan, is a prequel spin-off to 2014's surprise hit Ouija. And if this $6 million follow-up is even half as successful, you can expect it to clear $50 million easily. A widowed seance scam artist living in 1967 Los Angeles must confront the demons inside her own home when a haunted game board allows evil spirits to possess the body of her youngest daughter. Watching both movies back to back, the more observant viewer might notice some inconsistencies here, but by and large the PG-13 rated story sticks closely to the decades-old myth established in Part 1. Elizabeth Reeser has the poise and determination to carry such a challenging role, faced with the impossible reality of losing her daughter to unbelievable danger. But first and foremost, Ouija: Origin of Evil works thanks to the excellent performance from its young lead, Lulu Wilson. While it remains to be seen if she can parlay this role into a full career, it's evident the 10-year-old actress has tremendous talent, handling the somewhat physical and emotionally challenging role like a veteran. Plus, she is creepy. The perfect balance of childhood innocence married with chilling terror. It's like those twins from The Shining if they were wearing nicer dresses. Real talk, the only thing creepier than a clown in a dark forest is a little blonde girl in a Puritan outfit quietly making unbroken eye contact. Her long, dispassionate monologue about the sensation of strangulation is particularly creepy, gleefully asking, "Do you know what it feels like to be strangled to death?" Ouija's period-authentic setting is unquestionably the best thing this movie has going for itself. Thanks to the 1960s era costumes and locations, the 99-minute film looks and feels exactly like the iconic horror films my generation grew up watching. The visiting priest, the spooky old Victorian home, all of these elements are decidedly reminiscent of pictures like The Exorcist or Poltergeist. And while this movie mayn't live up to their reputation, the comparison is undoubtedly a favorable one. The titular board game only has 3 simple rules: never play alone, never play in a cemetery, and always say goodbye when you're finished. Predictably, these extremely simple rules are consistently broken, leading to some conventional but no less effective scares. Every slow pan and quick edit invites another frightening element, providing a relentless sense of uneasiness throughout much of this picture. I was able to sense most of the jump scares before they happened, but since a number of these payoffs were so great, I'm willing to overlook their predictability. The brooding music, great set design, and period-specific title cards also lend an appropriately chilling vibe to the movie.
Is there a presence here with us? What is your name?
Marcus.
Who are you talking to, Doris?
Spirit, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And we can see you.
That'll work.
Inherently, part of what makes a horror movie more enjoyable is the viewing experience itself, and this time around mine was pretty special. I was invited to an exclusive early screening at the Playlist Live YouTube convention weeks before its theatrical release, and I saw the movie with its target audience, a crowd of rowdy and enthusiastic teens. The result was definitely a lot of fun. Every scream and every gasp only serves to heighten the movie's underlying tension. But it was a surprise appearance by Miss Wilson herself at the conclusion of the screening that was the highlight of my weekend. She walked right through my row just inches away with that deadpan stare on her face. This evening has no relevancy on my actual review, but I just had to share what a cool time I had, which included a photo op with a young actress immediately afterwards. This movie is a marked improvement over its predecessor, and since you don't really need to see the original installment to enjoy this one, I'd recommend checking it out when it releases later this month. Ouija: Origin of Evil provides unsettling performances in a familiar package, and I thought it was a cool movie. Now, some final words as we wrap up another season of Movie Night. As we take a look back at the almost 100 films I reviewed and re-reviewed over the past 12 months, some reflection is in order. As I hinted at in last year's finale, this season's schedule was much more relaxed and spread out, allowing me to focus on making the best possible content without worrying about strict schedules and reviewing every film the day it came out. So even though I reviewed fewer movies this year than I did the previous year, the first time ever on the show, I'm really proud of the episodes I did produce, which I think might be the best work I've ever done. I wrote longer, more insightful reviews with extensive and inventive intro sketches with tighter overall editing, and based on your reception, it seems you agree. Part of this more spread out schedule means I won't be taking my conventional break between seasons though, so I'll see you right back here with a special 10 review episode on vampires in just 2 weeks, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, if you'd like to watch any of my existing 602 reviews, please check out this information icon or subscribe to be notified of upcoming content. Also, be sure to follow me on social media for updates between episodes and exclusive content. Once again, my name is Jonathan Paula. Thank you for watching, and have a good movie night.